Okay, I think I'm recording. This is my first recorded video vlog of what might become my channel. Or I may never upload this, so we'll find out. Anyway, I'm going to give out a shout out to Eric and Lisa, who might be the only people who ever see this. Anyway, but I love watching YouTube videos and about people showing the projects, what they're working on and what they've completed, and I even enjoy some of the yarn hauls. Anyway, so I thought I would show what I've been working on. So I'm gonna start with the thing I'm most proud of and stuff, is my selbu mittens. I knit and crochet. I probably crochet more than I knit, but I have always gone into like the yarns, like my local yarn store, Heinzelman's, I think that's what it's called, how it's pronounced. Anyway, and they always have these beautiful types of Norwegian knit mittens, stuff with like all the color work. Anyway, I've always wanted to do them. I was like, oh, that looks like it'd be fun to do. Turns out, is not as fun to do as I thought it would be. I did not know before doing these that I like some mindless knitting. Something about I don't like being bored, just straight stockinette or garter stitch, but these required my concentration pretty much constantly. You had to follow the pattern every few stitches. I had to be checking the pattern, and on double points with 2 stitches, although I was quite proud of myself, I managed to do a yarn in each hand. So, and I figured out, so I was doing English and Continental at the same time. Anyway, but I'm so proud of them. And they turned out perfect. Although for some reason the second one I did ended up my tension was a lot tighter working on it than the first one. But they ended up, at first when I was working on them, they were crazy tight. Like I kind of shoved my hand in between like all of the needles, and I was like, oh, I might be making these for my mom, whose hands are much smaller than mine. But it turned out that they stretched out quite nicely once they were done. And anyway, I love this pattern. It's free on Ravelry, and I'm gonna post all of the free patterns in the description and stuff, just because my favorite thing to do is like watch people's YouTube videos of what they've done. I get to see it made, see how, have them say how hard the pattern was, and then I can go find the pattern myself stuff. And anyway, but yeah, this is a free pattern online. I think it's I think the term is selbuvotten. Anyway, but I love just the details of this pattern, it continues all the way up. It's so cool. So this kind of lattice work pattern continues all the way up, and just the little details and stuff, how it works. And this is the first time I've ever done kind of a, what's called afterthought. I think it's called an afterthought thumb stuff, where you put the waste yarn in and you keep knitting up, and then you come back, pull out the waste yarn, and then knit in your actual thumb. Anyway, but my most proud project up to date, I won't be doing this again for a while and stuff. I'm eventually going to find a pattern I'm like gonna just want to do, and I'll just, but that was harder than I thought it would be. Anyway, let's see, 4 minutes. Okay, I don't know how long it's gonna take me to do what's it called, showing this, because this is the first time I'm recording, but we will find out how long this video is. Anyway, something I've done recently, I made a cable knit hat, and this is just yarn from my stash, another yarn from Heinzelman's stuff, and it is so old. I got this like 10 years ago. I don't even know if they made, I have no idea, but it was fun. So, turned out perfect. And this is the an Irish hiking hat. There's a pattern on Ravelry, it's really popular, called the Irish hiking scarf, I think. And then there's some other designers made Irish hiking hats, and fingerless gloves with that same pattern, and mittens. And anyway, This one's, it is really, really a great first cable project. This is not the first time I've done cables. I've done cables several times before, but this one would be a good first one because all the cables go the same direction, and it's every 8 stitches, and it's really simple, and it's also quick. So if you end up not liking to do cables, you aren't committed to like a whole sweater. That would take forever. Anyway, but I've enjoyed immensely making that stuff. Let's see. And now crochet. Let's see. Although I think I have another knit project in here somewhere. Anyway, I have been watching the YouTube videos, and virus shawls and virus meets granny are all the rage, and I needed to do one myself. Apparently, like no one, I don't think the actual source of the virus shawls known, but I'll post also the Ravelry post for this. But anyway, I don't think I can show this all the way. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, and the yarn is a Red Heart stripes, and what's the colorway? It's this is the Red Heart stripes, and it's polo stripe. Anyway, I used to hate Red Heart a lot 20 years ago. Red Heart was pretty scratchy and awful. I actually still have a couple of skeins or some old yarn or things made with it from that 20 years ago yarn, and scratchy. It's pretty horrible. Anyway, this is a lot softer than it used to be. It's still not the softest. It's still kind of, this is a cheap acrylic yarn, but the colors are beautiful. Like I love the stripes. I think what makes it fun is the long colorway, like, I mean, color changes. I like the long color changes stuff. However, I don't love the way it ended at the bottom. I thought it was like too choppy. I loved the beginning and the longer, but as soon as you got bigger and bigger, you know, the color changes happened faster and faster in the rounds. And anyway, so, but I intended to make this for my sister-in-law, Lena. Actually, Lena's another person that might see this. I have no idea. She's a little bit of a crafter herself. Anyway, so that's going to its forever home soon. I've been holding on to it. She knows she's getting it. Holding on to it to make this video specifically. And I've been a little bit of a coward about starting to film all my projects. But I think I get so much enjoyment of watching other people's that I thought it might be fun to give it a try. Anyway. So here, after I made that one, I was like, I almost kind of finished it. I was like, maybe I'll just keep it. And I was like, I wore it for a little bit, you know, like just as soon as for like 5 minutes after I'd finished it, because it's just test drive, right? Anyway, and I just wasn't feeling the colors. Colors weren't colors that I generally wear, even though I think they're beautiful. But so I've always wanted to do this. I saw this pattern on Ravelry, like, goodness, I was pregnant with Eva, so that was like 9 years ago. Anyway, I've always wanted to do it. Anyway, I am so proud of this, and it's a pineapple pattern. This is a good, if you want to do a pineapple shawl or pineapple pattern of any kind, this is a good first one. A lot of pineapple lace work has like treble crochets, is that what it's called? Anyway, and a lot of, you know, diversity of stitches that can make them kind of challenging. And this one, I mean, it's not a fast repeat. You definitely have, I think, 7 or 8, what's called 7 or 8 rows of repeat. And so it's, what's it called, a little bit more complicated. However, there's so much chaining in this that if you're intimidated by pineapples, don't be. I mean, it goes really fast. This actually went quite quick. I did this in like 2 or 3 nights just watching TV with my husband after the kids went to bed. But I love it. It is so comfy, and I'm proud of it. Stuff. It makes me want to go get one of those like pins. It's like I don't know. I kind of worry. I like, would I look like a kooky person that's totally out of touch with what's fashionable in the world if I wore that to church? I don't know. Stuff. I'm kind of wondering. Anyway, but I even posted this. I haven't been posting my projects online like I used to and stuff. I usually post on Facebook what I've been doing recently, but I've been kind of in this mental state where I'm just a little bit obsessed with making things lately. So pretty much anytime I'm sitting watching the kids and I have like what's called my hands free, I'm making something and stuff. That's been going on. Anyway, so it's enough about that. This is called, it was a red heart pattern from their website, I believe, and it's called the Sidewalk Shawl. And again, I'll put the pattern, like the Ravelry link on what's called on the description. Okay, the other hat that oh, this is another one. The cable hat I made before, I made it in a different yarn. And this one, because this was a yarn weight, I used Yarn B, this is called Tender Touch, and my goodness, this is soft. I love the look of mohair, and I've always wanted to like buy mohair and like make stuff with it. But anytime I'm in the shop, I don't love the feel of mohair. I think I might have an allergy to it and stuff, because I remember like there's been times when I've sat next to someone who had like a mohair sweater, and like it's almost like I'm starting to get like, I don't know, I'm a little sensitive to some natural fibers. I think I'm a little wool sensitive. Anyway, so I was looking for something to give you that look, but this is 100% acrylic, I believe. Let me look. I'm gonna find it here. Yep, 100% acrylic. I had no problems working with this. It wasn't as easy. I got kind of spoiled on all this like standard yarn. Anyway, but it feels nice, and it kind of looks a bit like, has a little bit of a halo to it. I think baby things made in this would look really nice. And because this is a 5, and the other hat I made was in a weight 4 yarn, this took one less cable repeat. Anyway, I did this as a gift for someone in my family. Anyway, but it's nice. I think I love this color. I do a lot of gray and and ivory, and my favorite color actually is sage green or olive green, which you can probably tell by the wall. But anyway, I haven't been able to find that particular color in stores recently, and I usually don't order yarn online, but I am tempted to order yarn online just so I could make myself a cable set of like hat, mitten, scarf, and stuff in like my favorite green color, because I like these earthy tones stuff. Anyway, but yeah, let's see. Oh, here's another knitting project. This is not going to photograph well. This actually is this is a work in progress. Not because I need to, what's called, weave in the ends, but also because it needs a pair. I've only have one of these. This is the first time I've actually really done a project with seed stitch. And the seed stitch is all up the hole, I mean the sole and stuff, and it has like kind of this cable in the front, and it has the cables on the side stuff. And I love the cuff. It has like this cuff that folds down stuff. And the pattern just said do a standard bind off, and I was really nervous I'd need to do a stretchy bind off. I keep looking at the screen here, and I need to remember to look at that because I'm nervous. So anyway, I need to look at the lens itself, because otherwise it looks like crazy, like it looks weird. Anyway, but you know, the pattern was right. I went ahead and did the standard bind off, and there was already so much stretch and space to this that the standard bind off's just fine. And I don't like stretchy bind offs sometimes, because they often have like this crazy flare. I have this pair of slippers I did once, and it had really chunky flare to it, although it was very stretchy and stuff, but I didn't like the look of it. Anyway, so this was the first time Drops is I don't know what they are actually. I see Drops patterns for free online a lot, particularly on Ravelry, and their patterns, so many of them are beautiful, but every time I've like looked at their patterns, and I've tried a couple before, they're always difficult to understand. Anyway, I have to admit the pattern was a lot more complicated than it needed to be. Like, I could see it being a whole lot easier to do than the way it was presented. However, I kind of understand why they wrote the pattern the way they did. The way they wrote the pattern was kind of like this section is, you know, this cable chart, and then this section do this cable chart. Let's see. All right. And, oh, I have to get going. One second. Bye. Oh, wait. Okay. I had, anyway, I had carpool. Go ahead and go pick up my kids. Anyway, I found out my mom's going to do it for me, so that'll be great. Anyway, but that means I have to get this done before they come in the door and make lots of noise. Anyway, anyway, I was talking about the pattern for this. Gosh, I don't remember what it's called, but I'll definitely put it in the description. Anyway, the pattern is written in such a way that it is really easy to like substitute a different cable chart for the cable chart that is recommended in the pattern. So, and it's easy to like alter the pattern with the way it's written. So if you're into like designing, or you find that you need to alter patterns a lot, like actually this drops pattern is perfect for that stuff. Because it's like, it's really easy to understand what's going on where and stuff, because it isn't written out row by row. It's written out, it tells you which charts do where, basically. But I found it a slightly more cumbersome than the average pattern. Anyway, but I'm excited to do another one of these. I have to admit, if I were to do it again, I would use, this is a worsted weight yarn, I would definitely use a Aran weight yarn. Maybe that Tender Touch would work better that I used for the hats. That's a size, it says it's a weight 5. I think it's kind of an in-between, because I used other things that are weight 5 that are a whole lot thicker. I feel like weight 5 is like, has a huge range of weights possible in it. Anyway, so, and that, oh, I did the slipper in Pound of Love. Lion Brand Pound of Love. It's like the Oxford Gray. I love this color. And the shawl was done in this, and actually, what's funny is the shawl, I did the shawl, and I basically finished the shawl and then like got about 6 inches of fringe done on the shawl, and I had run out of the first ball, so this is the second. And what was annoying was, you know, you pull out for the fringe from the, you know, you start from the inside, right? Pull, center pull. And all of my yarn was like really kinky from the inside. So I had to kind of try to block it. And it did okay. It's stuff. The fringe is still not like perfectly straight or anything. It doesn't block great, but it's, at least it's not as kinky as it was. But yeah, I had to like saturate it, and I like laid it out on the floor and stuff. And then we told the kids, don't touch this for like 2 days and stuff while it dried. It's like, anyway, my kids are kind of getting used to that. Mom's got a project. It's like, don't touch. Anyway, so now we're on to works in progress. So those are my finished things. And I have actually more finished things, but I think, so this isn't a forever long video. We'll just like keep it shorter. I'm thinking if I actually end up doing these videos, doing them like once a week. Anyway, so I have had a new discovery in yarn. Now, I said before, like I used to really kind of a snob about Red Heart. Like I never use Red Heart, but like Red Heart stepped up their game. I love this. It's gosh, it's called It's a Wrap. I don't know if that's gonna, okay, I don't know. I hope you can read it, but this one's called It's a Wrap Rainbow. Now, It's a Wrap and It's a Wrap Rainbow, totally different things. This is a size 2, even though the packaging says 1, it's a 2. And in fact, the website says it's a 2. And this is a misprint on their part. Anyway, and this is like the weirdest yarn ever. And I don't know if this will work. Nope, it's not gonna work. It's just gonna zoom on my face. Yep, sorry. Will this work? We're trying. And it's not gonna work. I don't know. If I go back, okay, I guess you can't see it. It's like separate strands. this isn't, they're not plied together. And my camera's gonna have a hard time focusing. Okay, now it's focused. Anyway, his is strange. It's not plied, so it's like just four strands together. But the way the color changes happen in it is beautiful. Like, so it starts with like 4 strands of the same color, and then like 1 strand at a time will change to the next color till it's all one color, and then it changes again. Anyway, and let's go back. And so you get this like, anyway, I've had these shawls. And this pattern is called Erigeneia. Let's see. Like, is this gonna be backwards? I guess it looks backwards to me, but maybe it won't be. Anyway, beautiful pattern. Anyway, I'm super excited. What's it called? The pattern calls for more yarn than this ball can give. And I'm kind of playing a little crazy game of yarn chicken. I did the math because it actually came with a chart. This pattern comes with a chart, and that's fabulous. It's a, anyway, and I figured out that this lace edge on the outside comes in like a 12 stitch repeat. And I found out that each row gives you 8 additional stitches. And so you find the, you know, lowest common denominator between those two is 24. And so I found, what's called, that means every 3 rows, if you do, you know, for every 3 rows that you do, you can either add or subtract to make sure that you have an uninterrupted lace pattern on the edge. Anyway, so if you're the kind of person that, you know, wants to really get specific, hopefully that'll help you. But knowing that you just need to add or minus 3 rows. Anyway, I kind of shortened some of these areas here. So it's all supposed to be like even, but mine kind of vary because I was, you know, taking out rows in certain places and then adding them. At the very end, I started doing like the lace pattern. I thought, I really want this gray to represent on the edge. I want to use up this ball because I really love the whole gradation. I was worried I was going to finish it too soon, so I added another 3. So I only ended up taking 3 rows out of the pattern in whole and stuff, although I changed the order of them. Anyway, and I don't know if I'm going to have enough. We will find out. I am definitely playing a game of yarn chicken, and I'm kind of thinking that I'm not gonna want to pull it out. I actually pulled out a couple of times trying to like, is this gonna be enough? No, it's gonna be, you know, and stuff. And I just went bold and said, oh, just put it in. Anyway, I want to use up all the gray. I don't know if I'm gonna be. I don't want to, this is $12 a ball. Although I used a coupon, like the 50% off coupon, so it's like 6 something. But I just don't want to buy like another one just to use like a row for the last row, although I might do it because I am loving this. Something about crochet for me, sometimes I don't love the texture of like double crochet in worsted weight yarn. I don't necessarily think it's body flattering, especially for someone who's not super thin. Anyway, but this has wonderful drape. It would look good on anyone. So anyway, I am super proud of this. I love this yarn. This is the second time I'm using it. Let's see, making a mess here, putting things down. Anyway, this is the first one I did, and I saw this green, I just had to have it. I love green. Anyway, so this pattern is super cool. It's like, I think it was called daisy chain. It has like these, like, I've never done this before where it has like the waves in it. I don't know if that makes sense. I think I've done this star pattern before, but I've never done these like wavy bits. Anyway, so it was such an interesting pattern. And I kind of, if there was something I would change, I would definitely add more of this green because I love this green color. And it ends up being like a hint of green at the end, but I've worn this a ton and stuff. Obviously I like this teal color and stuff, but I love this color. Anyway, I love this green. I kind of was like, my justification for it I told my husband, I'm making it for St. Patrick's Day. It's like, I need this. Anyway, and so I do love this. But I've been wearing this a lot. It has a real nice feel to it. But anyway, this one, it's a wrap rainbow. And it's in the colorway Sea Glass, I think, which I absolutely see that. I love greens and blues together too. So stuff, and I'm really fond of turquoise as well. When it comes to bright colors, these are my favorite bright colors. Anyway, so we're done with that one. And so I love that. So I found another one that I love. It's called Couture. I don't know if is that focusing? Focus. There we go. I'm so not used to this camera. Anyway, it's called Couture, and I'm excited to try this. Instead of those two, they have like lace patterns and they're more complicated. This one I'm deliberately doing a simple pattern. I think it's going to be just double crochet, and then every few rows I'm going to do like, every other, double crochet, chain, double crochet. And because there's so much interest in just the colors and the color changes, because the colors kind of happen a strand at a time, so it's a little busier, that I think this will be beautiful. And what's nice about that is that I don't have to worry about, I can literally stop whenever the ball stops. So I don't have to worry about darn chicken, basically worrying about when it'll end. Okay, I'm going to throw in a cross stitch here. Stuff. I like doing cross stitch or embroidery. I do more embroidery than cross stitch actually. But this is going to be a runner, table runner. And my name's Holly, so decided it'd be fun to have and I don't know if that's going to focus. Anyway, super pretty. I love it. I'm super excited about this. Anyway, it's huge, it's long. But I haven't been working on it very aggressively. It's just something I'm working on from time to time. And I will probably crochet or tat a lace border around this. I also tat, I'm thinking about trying to, I'm still haven't decided on my name. I'm going to change the name of my YouTube channel because it doesn't make much sense and stuff for what I want this channel to be, which is basically, crafting in general, or art and crafting. So two things I'm really good at. I love that. What's called that stuff. All right, here is a failed work in progress. Dun dun dun. It's awesome, but it's huge. There's a Bella Mitten pattern. It's from the Twilight series, actually. I was looking up cables, and this was again, in Ravelry, almost 10 years ago. And I found this mitten pattern that was up to the elbows, and they were so super cool. It was this chunky cable all up the front. Anyway, and I did them in alpaca. But the alpaca is I didn't realize that alpaca as a material is like hair. Basically, it just behaves like hair. So it's a little flat, it's a little bit limp. And I wish I had done kind of an alpaca, wool blend or something to so it'd have more loft. Anyway, and you can't see the cables as defined. Also, I don't even know why I'm trying to remake these, because they're actually stupid. The most ridiculous mittens ever. Because if you're cold and you want to wear mittens and you want to wear a coat, these don't make sense because they go up the elbow, and it's so funny. I'll put the mittens on and I'll get my coat on, and then I can't zip up my own coat. So I kind of feel like a 4-year-old asking my husband, can you zip up my coat for me? Because I can't, because my mittens. Anyway, so I don't know why I'm remaking these. But they're really pretty, but this is, it's just too big. It's gigantic. I don't know. I don't feel like a dainty woman anyway, but I feel like this make me feel like gauntlets. Anyway, I think this was that, it's huge. It's a size 5, and which is what the pattern called for, but the bulky 5 size is nothing. I'm gonna find that. Okay. This and this are the same size. I'm gonna find an end on this. Anyway, these are both bulky 5, but they differ so much. Can I show this? I don't know if you can see this. Dang. And I'm gonna make a mess here. Dang. Anyway, they're supposed to be the same weight, and they so aren't. There's just, I guess there's huge variation in bulky 5 definition. Anyway, I would call this a bulky 6, quite honestly. I'm not a huge fan of bulky yarns anyway, but yeah, this, anyway, so I'm pulling it out. It's weird for me to frog anything, but I need to find a new use for this. The only thing I've found so far that I like in this color, in this size, on Ravelry has been like this seed stitch cowl, and I'm that's a lot of seeds. I have 2 skeins of this, and it almost, that one calls for 3, so I'd have to pick up a 3rd. Hopefully I can still get the dye lot, but I just bought this a week ago, so it's possible, but that's a lot of seed stitch to do, and seed stitch gets boring. I like some like mindless knitting, but I like kind of doing some mindless knitting and then getting to a part like, oh, here's the cable, you know. Like the pretty part, like, or oh, here's the lace edge. This is definitely doing. I'm probably gonna do it just because I want the seed stitch cowl. I think it looks cool. Let me find that mitten real quick. Dang. I'm gonna have to figure out how to edit video, clearly, because I have things to take out. But anyway, that's my most recent projects that I've gotten done recently. And anyway, oh wait, I have one more. Okay, all right, I saved my biggest project for last. I worked on this obsessively, I think from December through January for a couple months. And like, it's so crazy. I worked on this so hard for a long time. I was so excited about it. And then I got to the last row, okay, last round. I don't know, I got to those like picot edge and I was just like, not one more stitch. Like, I put it down and didn't pick it back up. I love doing lace. Oh, this is gonna be hard to focus on. My camera does not like it. Anyway, this, it's not blocked. This this thread, I should say, not yarn, blocks beautifully. I've used this thread a lot for a lot of gifts. I do love doing, and this thing is huge. Think how enormous this is. The picot border is beautiful stuff. I love the picot border. I actually, and the reason why this is so long, because it is I intended it to go on my piano, like on the top. Not anytime soon. I used to have, I didn't make it. I had one that was either a wedding gift or a purchase, I can't remember. But I had a table runner on the top and it got destroyed. One of my kids left like play slime on it and then it like melted in and like stained it forever and I ended up tossing it. But so actually my lifestyle does not, I can't embrace this kind of crafted my environment because my kids, it'll get destroyed. So this was kind of like my hope chest for after my children. When I was young, some girls had like hope chest items for when they had a family someday and moved out. Now my hope chest is filled with items I get to use when my kids move out. Or at least no, I can't use them even when they're teenagers. My brothers, I had this funny story of my brothers. My parents had these crystal lamps, and that was kind of the thing in the early 90s. Anyway, crystal lamps, they're beautiful, and my brothers knocked one over one time when they were like wrestling, and it like broke and stuff, and a chunk came out of it and stuff, and I remember them like, oh crap. Anyway, so they got the whole thing, and they actually became an arts and crafts project before mom and dad came home. And so they got like super glue and they carefully super glued it back together. And quite honestly, they put it back where it was and mom and dad never knew a thing. And then some years passed, Bobby moved out, my brother, and it was Steven was with, I think, his neighbor boy Travis, and they knocked it over again. The same chunk came out, but another part broke. And then they did the same thing. They like super glued it together before Mom and Dad came home. Anyway, and that was like a couple of years. Stephen went to Ukraine and stuff he started a mission. But anyway, and it was funny. While he was away in Ukraine, we moved. And so we had this big yard sale, and my parents constantly, because we were moving to Utah and stuff from Oklahoma, we had all this stuff going to the yard sale. And it was funny that I kept seeing my parents pull all this stuff to this yard sale from the house. And I was going inside, my father was going out, and he was carrying this lamp stuff. Anyway, as he's walking down, it literally like falls apart in his hand. Like he's standing there, and it like falls to the ground in pieces. Like, what just happened? Anyway, I guess super glue or whatever glue they use like dried out eventually, and it literally crumbled in his hand. So he's thinking, oh, I have something to sell. Anyway, like, it was a great moment. Anyway, so I think of, that whenever I think, oh, let's buy something nice for the house, honey, and then I remember that story and like, let's wait till they move out. So we're always in a perpetual someday. But anyway, let me look at the time. I think it is time. Anyway, thank you so much for being a part of my first video, like for actually watching it. If you've made it this far, and which is probably only Erica, Melinda, and Lisa, and maybe my mom, maybe Sherry. But anyway, I will see you next week when I have maybe a couple things more done, and maybe I'll show some other finished projects that I just didn't have time to today. All right, thank you. Bye.